There we go. Let's try that again. Let's try that again. Okay, hey there, Smart Cookies. Nicole here. We seem to be having a couple issues with Instagram here. I think it might be the network or something like that. But if you're here with me, say you're here with me. Let me know where you're watching from. And I'm going to jump in with a business quote of the day. Because today, unlike other days, is a tool that helps you to do less. There's so many times that I hop on here, that I go live, that I say I have a tool to help you build your business. And this one is also going to help you do your business. But for the first time ever, I'm taking things off your to-do list. Yeah, I know. When Kristen shows up, if Kristen does get to show up here with me, she's going to be like, what? You always add things to my list. Not today, Kristen. So not today. So let's start off with just a minute to kind of center where we all are. Certainly me too. And I want to give you this business quote of the day. What would you do if you weren't afraid? What would you do if you weren't afraid? Hey, Hector. Hey, how's it going? Give me a wave if you're here. So I want to jump in with the 3 things that you can stop doing in your business. If me giving you permission is helpful, I'm excited to do that for you. If me telling you can stop doing something in your business is scary, downright scary, don't be scared. You're in safe hands, okay? But today I wanted to talk about some repeating conversations. You know that's one of my favorite things to share with you is when something's coming up for one person in some part of my world, one entrepreneur, whether they are across the country or nearby, whether they are on my team, right? Because my entire team is entrepreneurial as well. I always think it's a good thing to deliver to you too. So sometimes it shows up like an app or a piece of software or a tool, but sometimes it shows up like things maybe you don't have to do anymore. So I am hearing this one word over and over and over again that I don't love. And the word is, anyone want to guess what the word is that I don't love about business owners and the end of the year? I'm going to see if anybody wants to guess that one. If you're on the replay, certainly give me a hashtag replay and then guess your word. You only have a couple seconds. Pause it if you're on a replay. The word is overwhelm. I'm not a fan. I've even shared with my husband a long time ago that I'm not a fan of the word, to the point now that if I say, wow, I'm really feeling overwhelmed, he'll say, like, don't use that word. That's not your word. It's true, because overwhelm to me is really a state of mind. Yes, we can be overwhelmed. We can be overwhelmed with good things. Right? Too many leads. I love that. Who doesn't love that one where you get to be selective? A client I'm working with, she's a photographer. One of her reviews, it talks about how they used the headshots she gave them for his dating profile. And now he is overwhelmed and he gets to be selective about all of his prospects, all of his dating prospects. And I think that's so funny. Hey, Dave, how's it going? So, you can be overwhelmed with good things. I still think we wouldn't call it overwhelmed though. We'd be like, I'm swamped. I get choices. There's so much good. There's so much I get to choose from. But you can also usually hear the word overwhelm in the bad, right? That I can't keep up. I have too much to do. I see them doing this or that business doing that, and I want to be there too. It can show up a lot of different ways. You can start to have this feeling of negativity from everywhere, right? We just got through an election season, midterm elections. There's some stuff going on there, certainly. You could feel like there's some things, if you're an entrepreneur that's here, tell me what your business is. If you're here and you're an entrepreneur, you too, Instagram, let me know, what do you do for business? You could feel like you may not have control over certain things. So this overwhelm can show up, right? So that was like 5 ways, I think already. Like, so too much to do, comparing ourselves to others and where they're at and where you're not, having control or lack of control, because as an entrepreneur, we like to problem solve and we like to get it done. And then I think that leads to like all or nothing thinking, like, well, if I can't have it all, if I can't get the entire to-do list done, what did I get done? And then don't tune me out yet, because we're getting to the good stuff. And then with business ownership comes a whole lot of distractions. Like right now, at any point, you could just like see like this like dumpster fire, like going right by my desk probably, because there's always something, it seems, right? Something always needs some part of our attention. So those are all the types of bad overwhelm that can overwhelm us. But I really think, and this isn't just because I do some marketing, it's really about your ability to spin it and have a reframe, right? Like just frame of reference on what it really is. So I wanted to give you 3 ways that I do this. I have a feeling I'm going to give you a few more on the spot, but I wanted to give you a couple things that you can implement today. Right now, no app. You don't need to like pull out necessarily a calendar. You could probably maybe pen and paper or just with your phone, choose a couple things that I'm going to tell you to try out. But really, truly, it's about slowing down for just a minute. Really, just a minute. Can you give yourself 60 seconds to slow down and to just start implementing right away? So here are the 3 things. So I created this little, you know me, I got to have a Post-it note and give you 1, 2, 3. I wanted to give you a couple of reminders. So number 1 starts with something I said to someone today. I said to someone the other day, and then I heard somebody else say it to me. Your business, your rules. So it's your show. So when you're feeling overwhelmed or you feel like there's too much, or when you feel like a client's coming at you, or you have to take that client, you don't normally take that type of offer from them, but you're going to take it anyway, or you normally don't work on that particular day, but you're going to for them. I want you to remember me just sharing with you, your business, your rules. You get to choose, and remember it's a choice. So recently I took on a new client, happy to have them. So happy to have them. This wasn't that case where it was like, I just got to try. They fit into our offer, but they had just come from a bad experience, and they're in Q4. And like a lot of you, Q4 is a big, it's a big quarter. There's a lot of money on the line, right? And since they were referred to me by somebody I admire and respect, I just stared at the calendar. I was like, is there a way that I can fit them in? And I was like, yeah, my business, my rules. Yeah, we can figure this out. But I get to choose it, right? And so I stared at the calendar. I was like, I got one day that looks like I can clear, I can move, I can push some things over, and I can get them in. My business, my rules. It could have gone the other way and been like, oh, really? I don't want to, but I'm going to offer it to them anyway. Well, then I shouldn't have offered it to them. But I'm happy to say that it went so smooth. It was so much fun to support and to serve them. But it can be those moments of like, do or don't I? Am I doing it for the right reason? So first thing first is remember that it's your business, your rules. And so you get to control the to-do list. So that's strategy number 1 is make yourself a shorter to-do list. Why are these books so big? I've been trying to just fit everything I really, really need to do on a Post-it note. Some of you may have heard me on the podcast talk about this, or just draw a line down the middle. Can you see no, can't see the line down the middle. Let's try that again. Instagram, can you see the line down the middle? Yep. And then I try to just do 1, 2, 3, well, two lines here. Okay, there we go. There we go. And then, because, we're always busy, right? We always have things. Then I do 2 on the other side. So now that gives me 6 little spots of what I need to fit in. So today I needed to do this toolkit video. So I needed to kind of like figure out what did I want to talk about, what was coming up, what's in our Asana project management tool that I could use and I can share with you. The other thing is this is a VIP day. So I do have a client who has VIP, and she's expecting her wrap-up doc at the end of the day, and I want to make sure I get that to her. But then the other things that I have to do, like I need to make sure payroll is set up for next week. I got to do that. My people, who doesn't like to get paid, right? Hey, house. And then I have the other side, like of what else I need to do. So I just want to encourage you that right away, look at that. It's not Nicole adding a new app or software that you have to learn. It's not a new tool. It's not something you have to buy. If you don't have Post-it notes, you can use any scrap paper. But it's really just remembering my business, my rules, so I can make a shorter to-do list. Okay? There is one way to get rid of the overwhelm. Because at the end of the day, there's only so many things I'm going to get done anyway. I can say that I always hear the line that we have the same 24 hours that Beyonce has. And I'm always like, yeah, but she comes with a 100-person army that I don't quite have. I mean, I have a team of smart cookies, which is pretty much the same thing, pretty doggone close, but we all have, families and a life too that are a little bit different than when you're on tour for several months at a time. So I want you to remember your business, your rules as we go to the next one. So number 2, end. I wanted to make this like some clever little saying for you so you can remember. So the second one is end. The other way that you can manage your business, manage your life, manage anything that you have is keeping the end in mind first. So I'm going to give you an example of just my kiddo. He's 5, and we're already trying to teach him this as it is already. So, right, he likes to play video games already. Come at me if you think kids shouldn't play video games. That's fine. But teaching him how to play video games also helps him like figure out what he wants in our Instacart order sometimes too. So it's really, really helpful that he knows how to push some buttons. But when he playing a game, I can tell him like, oh, you have 15 minutes or you have 20 minutes. I could set the timer. We could struggle with the time, and he could try to have warped concept of what 10 minutes is. Or he told me, oh, I haven't done that in 50 months. So that's kind of like an uphill battle. But instead I've tried to say to him, when will you know that you're done? And so I would say the same thing to you. So I had a client today tell me, and this is where it all came up, is she said, I really feel like I'm chasing leads. I'm getting leads, but I feel like I'm chasing them down. And that just, I could feel it. It's palpable. Like as we were on Zoom, I could just feel her just like chasing. I said, well, you know, I don't want that for you. I also don't want to give you this next bit of advice, but I think it's really good advice. And if you choose it ahead of time, it doesn't feel that bad later. So I told her, why don't you set the end ahead of time? Instead of saying I'm chasing, just give yourself, I have a video called 3 times 3 ways. If you know it, say I know it. If you don't, I will get you a link. But it talks about how you really only have to go after a lead so many times before your energy starts to come down. It's really the point of that video. And so why not give yourself an end and a permission where you can stop chasing them and then just put them on the email nurturing list. Just put them in a container where they can continue to get nurtured, but you also are protecting your energy and protecting, you know, how you can do your business. So I want you to think about the end in mind. So I've already told you that your business, your rules, you can create a shorter to-do list. Cool. Which did I throw my to-do list out? Okay, cool. You can do that. But then with the end in mind, I want you to think about this in terms of simplifying what you offer. Now you can do it in terms of what you offer in terms of like follow-up, right? You can, Kristen, oh my Kristen, shorter to-do list. I'm telling you, I got shorter to-do list for you. You'll have to catch that in case you missed it. But what you offer. So maybe what you offer is 3 times 3 ways you're going to reach out to a lead and then give yourself permission to move them off. What you offer might be your actual services. You know what? Hey, we're just going to limit what we offer. I mean, I don't have to go any further. Just simplify it. 3 things. Someone told me the other day, they complimented me. Someone, again, I admire, said, I really like when I come to your website, there's usually 3 ways to work with you. That's it. I said, the spoiler is you can work with me a lot of different ways, but there's 3 ways that we want to start a relationship and start working with somebody. And yeah, those are on the site. Why not help people select in or self-select out, right? Like they get to choose that. And then if we start the relationship, then of course we can grow to other things. The other thing is think about what you can offer on the opposite side of after they bought. I have looked at the maintenance model of how do I support somebody. Actually, what I've looked at, here's behind the scenes. What I've looked at lots of times is how other agencies, I always get hung up on that word. I don't really feel like we're a marketing, we're like the unagency. Oh, can I start trending with the marketing unagency? Anyway, because we're not a catch-all. We don't do all the things. And we recently had a podcast guest on, you should listen to that one, but he talked about how that's how he started his business, that he was a catch-all for everything. And how instead he started to change where he had like mini businesses where he was just offering 3 things that were related to marketing, 3 things related to marketing. And that's how he's grown up to 8 businesses now. He's like, just got to keep it really simple for people. So I have struggled with like, we're not the agency where we're going to keep people on a retainer. That felt like we owed them or they need to tell us what to do every single month. And you all already have way too much on your list. You don't need to remember what to tell the person you're paying to do for you. I just don't love that model. But the word maintenance recently came up. And so I'm toying around with that word because you can choose to offer or not something after your product. Of course, you know, many of you, I know Kristen certainly has a warranty, right? Like you have the guarantee of your product, but there are other things that you could offer on the other side, right? And so with us, I've always rejected it until now. Like I'm starting to hear this word maintenance more and more in the back of my head. We have a little beta test out there, a couple that we're trying to work out to see, does maintenance feel right? It means we already know our checklist. And it means you don't have to give us the checklist. It means we're going to report back to you. It feels really, really good. So, but you get to choose. And we are always trying to take things off. Believe it or not, Kristen, we are trying to take things off your plate so that you can run the race faster, better, get better results for sure. I know sometimes it feels like there's still some things to do, some things to optimize. Yeah, that's true. But that is our core, like who we are, what we're up to is how do we support entrepreneurs in meaningful ways. So retainers never felt that way for me. It felt better something else. And it wasn't membership for me. It was something else. And so I think we're getting closer. I'm really excited about the word maintenance and what that means for us. So stay tuned for that. Okay. Just to recap. So 1 was your business, your rules, 2, the end, right? So rules end. And here is this like meta upon meta. Rules end, distractions. So the other thing that you can do, that you need to do more than likely, is realize when you are the business owner, when the buck stops with you, I never used to put my name on the business card, by the way. Like I'd put my name and then I'd have like any other title besides founder, owner, CEO. No, I never did that. I would just be like project manager, because that way people didn't know where the buck stops, and it kept my phone quieter. So I would tell you there are a lot of ways you can manage distractions. And one of them starts right here. I would show you my phone, but it's being used for Instagram. Hey, again, Instagram. Tell me if you're here. Hey, NSD Paintworks is here. Hey, Jason. So the way you can manage that is with your phone. So today I've talked to you about just a piece of paper and a little couple lines on it, but then also removing some notifications. Now, Nicole, how in the heck am I going to remove notifications? I don't know how to work my iPhone. If you don't know how to do it, let me know. I will give you some tips. But why not removing just the badges? How many cannot stand the red badge? I can't stand the red badge on my text messages or on my emails. I don't want to see them on my phone. My phone is not exactly a zen place, but I can make it a little bit more so if I remove some of those notifications. Then how about removing them as they just ping me? Because as you get pings for emails or text messages or anything else inbound, let me point out the big one that I cut out about 1.5 years ago was the news. I used to be glued to it all the time. And man, I mean, when we went through 2007, 2008 recession times, I was in mortgage and finance. So I was like always watching the news, just like watching it crash, implode. And that wasn't helpful. Like today, I don't remember what George Stephanopoulos talked about back then. It's not helping me today. And so I continue now to keep it off. And then I also minimize, let me be honest, any negative humans in my life too. Remove those notifications. Remove, because when you don't remove them and they get to just ping their way into your life, what are you doing? I'm gonna give you a hint. You're putting their things back on a to-do list in the moment that they want it, right? You feel the sense of urgency, like you have to do it. What is a badge, Kristen? It's the little red circle. You're an iPhone user, right? So it's like the little red circle that'll like keep counting how many missed notifications you have. Maybe you already have them off. I turn them off on mine. And so minimize those so that way you're not making someone else's emergencies, someone else's situation, whatever they need that you feel they need right now. How many business owners feel like when someone messages them that they need it right this second? I do. So I just make sure that I carve out time for that. So there are your 3 things. Let me just go make sure. I have this other one that I really want to talk about. So maybe this is like 4. Maybe I have to like say this is bonus 4, and then we'll just add it into the thumbnail. Thank you, Angie. Thank you. Hey, glad to see you here. So, so far we've talked about your rules, your business. We talked about how we gotta think of the end in mind, right? If we can think about the end in mind. So your business, your rules means you can come up with a short to-do list, make it just what you can fit on here today. Mine is this toolkit video, VIP day that I need to wrap up by the end of the day. I need to do some payroll. There will be a couple other things that have to end up on this list today, but like I know what I know has to happen. The end in mind, just like my kiddo with video games, like how will you know that you're done with a video game? You can't tell me when you beat level 8 when you're only on level 4. Like how will you know tonight that you're done? And I'll be like, oh, when I've beat, I don't know, today was beat Bowser. I was in Mario Brothers. I don't know. And then, so if he can do that at 5, you can figure out like, what's the end for like calling back clients? What's the end for, you name it, for your service, your offerings, things like that. Your plain old offerings. And then distractions, you can remove those notifications. The other one I want to talk to you about though, that I love, it comes from my construction background, that we always had this 15% contingency plan, that something, somehow, either time or money was going to come up. And we've always budgeted that into a job. How many of you ever had a contractor come to your home? Well, first of all, did they show up on time? That's another story, right? But not only did they show up on time, but they've come to your home to do a project and we're going to need more time, or we're going to need more money. I mean, you can't even watch an HGTV show without it scripted in there somewhere. They're like, oh, the floor is falling out. We didn't notice it when we walked through the first time. So why don't we do that in our businesses? Whether you're a local owned business, whether you're a photographer like Angie, or painter like Jason, Kristen, manufacturer shutters, any other the services that are out there that we're offering, we do. Now I'm claiming the unagency. How come we only expect that of contractors? So we would build a 15% in the budget. We would tell them like, hey, here's the estimate. That's all, right? How many times they say, the plumber says, this is the estimate, could be more. And then we would always tell, my company, we'd always tell people there's 15%. It could go this way or that way. And then guess what? It usually always went up, right? Because there was always some can of worms that would be opened up. But the same thing with time. In our own house building experience, it was supposed to be 6 to 8 months. It was 11 months. It was far over 15%. But are you building in contingency times? Angie was messaging me this morning, and she was so excited that she had a couple weeks of catch-up time. Oh my gosh. First I was like, oh shoot, you don't have enough business? Wait, what? Oh no, it's the holidays. I had to like do all this internal processing, and she said she had time to catch up. But think about it. I was like, no, that makes sense. You could have time next week. You don't have to run end to end. And then she has some more time after that. And so building in that contingency plan, which yes, then I was relieved to hear her, like she was excited about catch up time. Like as her marketing in chief, I like to think. She calls me guru. I don't know about that word, but I was like, oh shoot, did we fail her? But really it was about a time that she actually has some space. And so I would argue we all need to build that back into our lives. I do it with CEO days at the beginning of the month. I would encourage you, find somewhere that you can build in at least 15% of your time back. How many times do you like buy a course or buy something we want to take advantage of, and then like we don't even get to take advantage of it because we didn't build in the time to do it. We just bought the thing. We want the impulse. So Kristen, any questions? I legit tried to take things off of your plate this time. Yes, you might have to pull a piece of paper. But I wanted to just say, I believe in you guys. I know this is a time where it gets really crazy and stressful. Either it's a time of big sales, and so that can be its own type of stress, or it's a time of slow down and attempt to enjoy the holidays with less revenue coming in. But how can you take advantage of both of those by doing just a little less, by just simplifying altogether? So I hope this was helpful. I only know when you tell me. So if it is, let me know. And until the next time, we'll have a pre-recording and we'll air it probably the day before or the day after Thanksgiving so that you know that we're here to support you and say, hey, but otherwise have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you soon.